Gave it to top of the arc. Here's Pip, guarded by Gillespie. Steps back, spins, fires! Woo! Pip gets! Let's go!
They get another crack. They'll go to their senior. And he lays it in. Two big buckets by Alpha Diallo.
He crushed it. It's a grand slam.
Down by 3. 5 seconds. Reeves for the tie. He got it.
Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Dish Sports. I'm Ben Bellotti here with Robbie Cannon and Matt Marasco. Guys, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Great. Love to hear it. Sports are 100% back. Last week, baseball 100% back. This week, NBA's back. NHL's back. MLB's back for now. It's going great so far. We love it.
Is it got Ben? The last 2 days, man. 3 days.
Forget about the MLB. It's going great.
It's going great.
Yeah. It's going great.
Yeah, I mean,
Easy.
Yeah, the NBA's going great. The NHL's going great. Every sport that except the one that you guys love most is going great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball is having a few issues right now with testing. But, hey, we're getting over it sometimes, and then it comes back. But Manfred said originally he threatened everyone, so he might shut it down. But I think they're going to try and push through it. Really wish they would have done a bubble. We say it like every episode. But, yeah, we needed a bubble for the MLB.
Could you imagine just with the bubble thing, when they were first talking about a bubble, they were going to have a bubble in Arizona and a bubble in Florida. Could you imagine if that was the plan they went with, as those two states are just like the worst?
Well, I mean, the NBA is in Florida. They're Disney.
Fair.
Yeah,
But-
as long as you properly do the bubble.
I guess. I don't know. I just think it would be funny that they chose, like, those were, like, the two states were like, let's go here. And then they turned out to be the two worst states. But
MLB could have went to, like, Baseball Heaven or something, or Diamond Nation, whatever, one of those places that, have all the little fields.
yeah.
Well, that would be the problem, right? The fields are too little.
Wait,
Yeah, that's a good point there, but they're all pony league fields.
I think
They're all 50s, 75s.
Are they?
Yeah, 50s, 70s. Yeah, I think so.
Well, hey, that
Be a lot of home runs.
They would absolutely mash.
that was my idea for a bubble. But yeah, so we'll hit on a quick MLB topics real quick to go on track with the whole bad start to testing and everything. The Phillies officially resumed play today. So for those of you who don't know, the past couple of days they've been postponing their games and just waiting it out because a couple staff members tested positive for corona. And it's speculated it came from the Marlins. Surprise, surprise. Andrew McCutchen has spoken out about it. He's very upset about it. He said, we did everything right, and we're the ones that paid for it. So, I mean, you got to understand his frustration there. I mean, when you're following protocols and doing everything right, and then, first of all, it's not the players, it's the staff. So who knows if they're following the same protocols or not. But it's really just most likely the Marlins came into town and spread the coronavirus, and it wasn't contained. So completely understandable why McCutchen's upset. So, but they're playing today. Playing the Yankees right now as we speak. Aaron Judge just popped up a couple minutes ago, so love it when he's not producing. But yeah, so that's looking good. But what's looking not so great is the St. Louis Cardinals, as they have tested multiple people have tested positive for the virus. And the reasoning for them testing positive is very similar to the Marlins strip club incident, as the Cardinals have been rumored to be going out to casinos. Robbie, care to comment?
Do I care to comment? Casinos, strip clubs. At least these guys are making it worth it to get the corona. I mean, we touched on it last show. Like, I hope they won big, too. I hope they won big at the casino that night.
Yeah, I mean, it better have been worth it because now they have to sit out games. And, I mean, who knows when they'll be back.
No, it does. I do feel for the rest of the league, like McCutchen said, the other guys who are doing things that they're told, who are taking it serious and
Right.
or do have to pay for these guys who aren't. But I don't know. I mean, I get a good chuckle out of it.
I mean, like, it's crazy. I I sent you guys a tweet right before we started. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it.
Saw that.
Yeah.
Derek Jeter said his Marlins risk going out to get milk. Like, what?
That's absurd. You know what? I blame it all on Derek Jeter now. If he's gonna then I get it. Like as an owner, you can't really like throw your players under the bus. Just don't say anything, Derek. Just don't.
What?
Like, how is that like going out to get milk?
You can throw him under the bus. Like I feel like it's his responsibility to take responsibility and say like, yeah, we've not been doing a great job.
Yeah, I mean he's got to control his players. Like you can't just. If you're the owner of the team, especially Derek Jeter, right? He's got the respect of the players. We talked about them not being a veteran team. They don't have a veteran presence in the locker room to keep kids in line.
Mm-hmm.
Jeter can be that presence. You know what I mean? He's obviously well respected around baseball. Like they got to figure it out. Also, I'm a little bit surprised by the Cardinals. They've always kind of struck me as like a class organization, not one that would really, not a lot of skin. Like you don't hear a lot about them. They're just out in the Midwest doing their own thing. I'm really surprised that an organization with the success level that they've had, with kind of like the class act, the way that they've conducted themselves on and off the field by and large, is going out to casinos en masse and contracting the virus.
I mean, it's not 100% confirmed, but there have been multiple reports upon it. So, but yeah, I 100% get what you're saying. It is very surprising. I mean, it's surprising for any team to do that. Young guys, veteran guys. I mean, just stay in your hotel, in your room, whatever, in the clubhouse. With like the Red Sox, I think the Red Sox are doing a great job with it. They have the room set up inside of they turn the suites into like 2-person apartments.
Probably the only thing they're doing a good job with so far this year.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah. We'll get to that in a bit. Let's not rile Matt up right now. But yeah, guys just got to do a better job because I mean the teams that are playing, they're doing great jobs of containing the virus, and they're going out playing great and having fun. The teams that are doing it are proving that you can still have fun and take precautions. Like the Cubs, one of the best teams in baseball right now, they're taking extreme precautions as they have multiple guys with health conditions, including Anthony Rizzo and John Lester, both cancer survivors who are extremely at risk. So they're both playing. They didn't opt out, and the Cubs are playing some of the best baseball. I think MLB ranked them as like the number 3 team or something right now, and they're having fun doing it. They're pimping home runs and everything, and I mean, so it's just got to get cleaned up. To move on a little bit, still we're gonna go with the more unfortunate MLB news on the rundown before we move on to the happy stuff. But I didn't even have this on the rundown. Crazy event happened yesterday. Yoenis Cespedes missing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got alerts on your phone and everything. Yoenis Cespedes just didn't report to game time. Turns out he opted out, told no one but his agent. And, so he's just gone, and the Mets lost an outfielder / DH that, probably would have helped them out as he was hitting some home runs. So bad news for the Mets. There's bad news for other teams, such as the Angels, as Shohei Ohtani is likely done pitching for the year. He just had a forearm strain. He still is going to DH for the team, but for 4 to 6 weeks, he cannot throw a baseball, and he's probably not going to pitch the rest of this year, maybe a little bit into next year, depending on how serious the strain is. So big blow for the Angels there, as they don't have too many great pitchers, but at least he can still DH for them.
Going back to the Cespedes thing, I always knew he was kind of an out there guy. Like the whole thing with like he got hurt with like after a confrontation with a wild boar on his ranch, and like it cost him a season. He hurt both legs. Like
he hurt both legs in like a horse accident or something.
Yeah.
After getting chased by the wild boar.
Yeah, like some crazy stuff, right? So you're like, all right, this guy's a little out there for sure. But just to disappear, I mean, I can think of 2 other people that have done that. You got Dennis Rodman and Ken Griffey Jr., the only 2 other athletes I know that just disappeared.
Oh, that's right. Ken Griffey Jr. just like drove home one day.
People forget that Ken Griffey Jr. just disappeared. They try to kind of like protect a legacy with that kind of stuff. Do that.
Yeah. No, the Yoenis Cespedes thing is pretty wild, but I mean, at least he was just opting out, and it wasn't a crazy attack or whatever, because who knows what could happen with Yoenis Cespedes.
Just going
Yeah,
on.
at least there weren't any wild pigs that got him.
Exactly. In other unfortunate news, Mike Soroka of the Atlanta Braves, stud pitcher, maybe you heard of him, almost won Rookie of the Year last year. He just was stumbling off the mound and might have tore his Achilles. So that's pretty bad for the Braves. And hope he's going to be all right because he's a stud. And, you just never want someone to tear their Achilles, especially as young and promising as him. So best wishes to him. But in some positive news, the Angels are calling up their top prospect, one of the top prospects in all of the MLB, Joe Adell. He's a 5-tool player with a very good promise in the MLB. Some are calling him the next Mike Trout. I know we don't really agree with that statement because no one can be Mike Trout, but that's his comparison right now.
Yeah, I mean that's just there's one Mike Trout on the planet. There's definitely not like the fact that he's drawing comparisons. Not only like Mike Trout's a once in a generational talent. The fact that there would be two in the same organization at the same time, not even just two in the league at the same time, two in the same organization at the same time is insane. I mean, obviously, look, I'm rooting for this kid. What's his name? Adele.
Joe Adell, yeah.
Joe Adele. Like, obviously, I hope he's super successful. I almost feel bad for him that he's already drawing those comparisons, though. That's kind of tough to.
He's been a stud in the minor leagues, and I have so much faith in him. I picked him up from a fantasy baseball team. So, I mean, let's go Joe Adell, right?
Wait, I got a question for you guys. This might put you guys on the spot, or you you won't know it, or you guys will be like, oh, that's the easiest thing. Like, why would you even ask? What are the 5 tools for a player?
It's hitting for power, hitting for contact, or hitting for average, I should say. Arm strength, speed, and fielding. Right.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, easy enough. Everybody throws around those terms. I don't know what a 5-tool player is.
It's on an 80-point scale too, which is weird. 80 being the highest. It's a very odd way of scouting, and it's getting away from that. But
Xander's gonna be an 80, right?
What was that?
Xander's an 80.
Xander's like 1,000. Yeah, Xander Bogaerts is doing great. And with other MLB news, there's some records that could be broken in the future or already have been broken. Aaron Judge has homered in 5 straight games. Unfortunately, 3 of those were against the Red Sox. He might homer in 6 tonight. Who knows? Griffey has the record for that with 8 consecutive games. So I guess that's not really close to happening, but hey, maybe. And a record that was broken was Tyler Alexandra, a pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. I think it might have been his debut. And he set a record by striking out 9 consecutive batters. So just congratulations to him. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Tyler Alexander, that was sick. I think he pitched for them last year. I'm not 100% sure. But, I mean, it was sick to watch. I don't know if you guys saw the breakdown. John Boyd did a breakdown of it. And it's cool because he's like the opposite of everything you see in baseball right now. You just see these absolute cannons coming out of the pen, blowing 100. He's up there like flipping up curveball. You know what I mean? He's just a soft lefty. And it's kind of cool to see that like you can still get guys out. He pitching backwards, spotting his fastball. I mean, absolutely dotting his fastball. It was sick to see. And I mean, just snapping off all sorts of breaking pitches. It was like pitching. He wasn't just up there throwing the ball. Like you see so many guys just throw the ball. He's up there absolutely pitching. It was great to see.
Yeah, you got to respect that. I love a guy who can paint the corners. The one thing I didn't like about it was the announcers really like weren't that into it. Like I love, all the clips of strikeout to strikeout with the guy going, he gone or whatever, like stuff like that. And these guys are just like talking about other stuff until the last like 3 strikeouts. I think broadcast and baseball have not been doing a great job this year. Not so much the hometown guys, but I think that was a home broadcast, but like ESPN and Fox, they're not even doing like play-by-play. It's just like talking about random things. And then if something big happens, they're like, oh, look at this. Otherwise, it's really like you're just like listening to them and watching something completely different.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, so 2 things. With the Tyler Alexander thing, I think a big part of that is just because of, again, like the way he was going about it. Like you're kind of watching, you're like, he struck somebody out. Like but it's not like, he's blowing smoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's up there just flipping soft stuff up there. So it's kind of, it almost sneaks up on you. You're like, holy crap, he struck out, 6 guys in a row, 7 guys, 8, 9 guys in a row. You know what I mean? You don't really notice it at first.
True.
But yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of the hometown broadcast in general, just because they watch the teams every day. Like you can do as much scouting you want as a national broadcaster, but if you call a team 15 times a year, you're not going to have the same knowledge that somebody who watches them night in and night out has. ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball has always been awful. I've never been a big Joe Buckeye, but I mean, yeah, I agree. I think it is almost worse this year just because, they have even less to go off of because they're missing more than half a season.
Yeah. So hopefully that gets turned around. And another thing that we hope gets turned around is the Red Sox, who are absolutely atrocious right now. Just to prove it, the Red Sox pitching so far this year has the worst ERA in baseball. They've given up the most hits in baseball, second most home runs, second worst WHIP, and the highest batting average allowed. And all of those are not in the AL. That's in all of baseball. So that's terrible. And to go along with that, a couple of days ago, Xander Bogaerts gave this great quote that was proven absolutely true last night with the Yankees. He said, "We proved that we can come back. We're capable of doing that. But if you've got to score 8, 9, or 10 runs every game, honestly, it's a little tough." And that was in an article with our good friend Chris Cotillo, friend of the program. But, yeah, I mean, that was just proven true last night. I mean, the Red Sox had the lead multiple times. The bullpen just blew it over and over again. Both bullpens, the Yankees and Red Sox. But, I mean, ultimately the Yankees come out on top and just mash. And the Red Sox, Matt Barnes, just come on, dude.
Look, you can't have he's your guy, right? Barnes was your closer last year, was awful. But he's like the guy out of the bullpen other than Workman. He's your setup guy. He's supposed to be nails. He's got a whip of 2.
Well,
When your setup guy, your 8th inning guy in a 1-run game and your divisional rival, the guy that you come in and you say, go get us to our closer with the 1-run lead has a whip of 2. And that's just going up. That was before last night when he absolutely imploded. I mean, get this team some help. It's just awful. The bullpen's been bad. 2018, the bullpen was bad. The only reason why the
2018 bullpen was good.
The only reason it was fixed in 2018, because think about what we did in the playoffs, right? It was bad during the regular season. It was fixed because Joe Kelly figured it out. And because we started to have starters come out of the pen. So you have guys like Nate Eovaldi, Rick Porcello coming out of the pen. So you don't have to go through these guys. And it's just gotten worse every year. You lose Kimbrel last year, it's even worse. Now this year, and they're just not replacing these guys. I haven't had a reliever I've trusted since Koji Uehara.
2013, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the bullpen is just so bad. And then you don't even have any starting pitching. Now it's like, oh, our bullpen sucks. Let's have an opener. Let's have bullpen games there. So we don't even have starting pitching to bail it out. It's just terrible to watch. And you feel for guys like Bogaerts who just signed these massive extensions. JD Martinez opts in. Guys like Devers, they're going to try to lock up long term. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now they're stuck in am I going to be stuck in a rebuild or bad for the next 10 years? They got to figure it out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the direction the team goes in because, I mean, the young guys like Xander, Devers, JD, not really a young guy, but a guy that you'd hope stays with the Red Sox. I mean, those guys they're hitting well for the most part. Rafi was off to a slow start, but he's starting to come around. He's really been the past couple of games been playing well defensively after an extremely slow start. So that's great to see. And Xander's just been killing it the whole time. You love to see that. Chavis has been heating up. So the guys are hitting, they're scoring runs, but they're also giving up more runs than anyone else. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to play in the future if after this season, what they're going to do with their pitching, because something has to be done. But, I mean, honestly, I'm tired of talking about the Red Sox and how bad they are because it seems like I do that every night. So let's move on to something hopefully we can make a little more positive and a lot more fun. The NBA finally back. They're playing in the bubble. First couple games were played. Celtics didn't win the first game, but they looked really great the second game. And they had, good signs the first game too.
Yeah, so – first game, whatever, we're knocking off the rest. And we're playing the Bucks. I mean, one of the best teams in the league. Probably should have beat them, to be honest. But is what it is. Second game, we came back. I think overall, I like where we're at. I couldn't ask for much better. I mean, obviously, I'd like to be 2-0 right now. But I like what I've seen out of the guys, and we'll see. I still think we can make a run at the championship.
I agree. I mean, yeah, frustrating first game with Giannis looked like he fouled out under 5 minutes. Looked like he fouled out twice. Yeah,
that was frustrating.
They didn't call a hostile act when they should have, and they could have added a foul when they reviewed it. They didn't, and then they reversed a block charge. I think Smart was out of the circle. I don't know. It's tough to say. He got in some trouble for some comments he made. I think he was right.
I think everyone agreed with him that he said we all really know it was just the league not letting Giannis foul out or something like that, right?
Yeah, and he's right. It's a superstar-driven league. They need their stars in the games. You can't have the Bucks kind of this, the crown jewel of the NBA dropping a game to kind of an upstart Celtics team that, largely flew under the radar after a bad year last year. The Celtics team was sneaky good. Not a lot of people talking about them.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's Bucks, Bucks, Bucks. This is Giannis's year, all that stuff. But yeah, I think I called it. We can go back in the tapes. I think I said 7-1 when the schedule came out, and right now I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, we'll have to check it, but I think you might be right. And let's hope they can go 7-1. I mean, Jaylen Brown's been looking great. Jason Tatum was not looking good the first game at all. I know Matt has a lot to say about that, and Robbie has a lot to defend about that, as we saw Jason kind of turned around the second game.
Yeah, he had 34 in game 2. He looked way better. I mean, there's
100% better.
Look, even I can't defend him at what he did the first game. I mean, he was bad, but look, I mean, first game that he's actually played in a long time, and I don't know, he's knocking off the cobwebs. I think he'll be all right. I think Gordon has looked amazing.
Yeah,
and I think Kemba's looked good. Brad Wanamaker's looked really good. Which if Kemba's knee flares up in the playoffs, we're going to need Brad Wanamaker to step up. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm happy with what I've seen out of him.
Problem too.
Yeah, I mean, Jason and what he did game 1 against the Bucks is why I've never been a big Tatum guy. It wasn't his day. You knew it wasn't his day, and he still continued to throw up shots. I mean, Jaylen Brown, I've always loved Jaylen Brown. Anybody that's listened to this before, whenever we've talked about the Celtics, knows I love Jaylen Brown. Stays within himself, stays within the offense. Shot well over 50%, 30 points, 16 points in the fourth quarter. When it was winning time, whenever you needed a big shot, he had a huge corner three and a couple other big shots. I mean, he was locked in, and he's just, he's the guy you want on your team, man, because you never have to worry about him. If it's not his night, he's not going to put up the shots. He gets it early, smart with a huge deflection down the stretch. Robbie, I agree. I think this team can make a run at a championship appearance. We showed, Tatum's arguably our best player. He had he made two shots from the floor in that game, and we only lost by like 4 or 5 points. So
yeah, we're deep. We're deep. That's for sure.
We're deep. He comes back. You get Tatum hot at the right time, and if Tatum does half this stuff he did in the game against the Blazers, we beat the Bucks. So I think we can give the Bucks a run for their money. And I like where we're at right now, and the future is bright in Boston. All those guys are locked up long-term, or relatively long-term.
Yeah, for sure. So, obviously, our dark horse, or maybe not even a dark horse, to go all the way is the Celtics. But, I mean, who are you guys really feeling right now to win the championship? I mean, it's only been, a couple games, but,
aside, look, my bias, my heart won't let me say C's. So we'll say aside from this, or my heart wants me to say C's. But if I can pick the C's, I still don't see the Clippers. The Clippers are really good. I still someone's got to beat them. I don't know if someone can beat them over 7 games. Because the Lakers, AD is not the right fit to put next to LeBron as a second man, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the champion is good. It's gonna be in LA. The trophy.
How do you guys feel about the Rockets?
What's up?
How do you feel about the Houston Rockets?
I don't think James Harden's style of play translates well. I don't think he'll ever win a championship the way he plays.
I think he's as good as anyone in the league. I think Russell Westbrook is not. I've never been a big fan of his, and
really?
I don't think he fits well because Harden needs guys around him who can shoot. And Russ, that left his game. At one point, Russ could shoot the basketball. He can't really anymore, at least from deep. And also the Rockets, they can't win because they cannot get a stop. I mean, they cannot play defense. So even if they figured it out completely on the offensive end to the point where like it wasn't just Harden going for 50 every night, they can't play defense. So I would see them contending.
Yeah, I mean, my thing between the two LA teams, I want the Clippers. I don't like LeBron and I don't like the Lakers. So I hope it's the Clippers, but I just think this shortened season helps LeBron so much. He's going to come out firing. He only has 8 regular season games left. You're not worried about load management because he's a guy, and part of the reason why I don't like him, he's notorious for taking games off, obviously, but even plays within games. You see the clip of he's not closing out on a shooter. I think this was 2 years ago, either last year or 2 years ago, where he literally had one of his teammates shove him out to go out to the close out on a shooter on the 3-point line.
Right.
Now, but he'd always turn it on in the playoffs and play hard in the playoffs. So now, condensed season, everything's like the playoffs. So I could see, the shortened season certainly helping him. But the Clippers are so deep. I don't know. That's going to be a hell of a series, though.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge basketball guy, but just by watching the first couple games and just by knowing what I know and watching part of the, season before everything got shut down, I mean, the Clippers have been my pick this whole time.
Yeah, you have
forget
been
about Paul
Clippers.
George.
Yeah. The one other team I'll say is the Raptors. They beat the Lakers the other night pretty convincingly. If the score didn't, I think they ended up winning by like 10, 15 or something, but like they really were in control. And you talk about depth, they got depth. Kyle Lowry and Siakam are kind of their 1-2 punch, or probably Siakam Lowry. Siakam is really coming to his own, but I mean Van Fleet, he's a really good NBA player now. They got a lot of dudes, and it's not unlike the Rockets, like Matt was saying with Harden. It's not like it's a complete opposite. It's everybody gets theirs, and we'll see. That is a style that wins. So we'll see if they can make it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's pretty much the same team coming back without Kawhi. So, you got guys that have been there before, which I think in this type of an environment, in this type of season, having, made deep playoff runs in the past, I think will definitely help teams down the stretch kind of maintain their focus and, they know what it takes to go win a championship.
Yeah. So, I think for now that's really all we can hit on in the NBA without getting really, really specific. So, the NHL also fully back. The first game, we had a fight within 3 minutes with the Rangers and the Hurricanes. So that was super exciting. And Matt, I know you want to talk about the Bruins a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're coming into this now with the Bruins. You had the President's Trophy locked up. You were, not locked up, but you were well on your way to being a 1 seed.
Right.
Now with the restructuring, it's just going to be whoever comes out on top of that, the first 4, the round robin, whoever comes out on top of that is going to be the 1 seed. So you can't go out and drop a game to the Flyers. You just can't.
Yeah.
And they lost badly, 4-1. This is a team that a lot of people picked to win a championship. I thought they were going to win a championship. You have pretty much the same team back from last year that should have won a championship. And you come out flat. And part of the reason why people like this team is because you have that chemistry. The perfection line's been together for so long. The core has been here for so long that you're not worried about, or you wouldn't think you'd have to be worried about Russ, but clearly that was a factor against the Flyers, and it's not going to get any easier because you got Tampa Bay now. It's kind of turns into a must-win almost. And on top of that, this is extra important because for the first time ever, the NHL, they're reseeding. Right. So it's no longer, it's no longer bracketed. So it used to be, if there's an upset, you would go through the bracket basically, right? Matchups are predetermined. Now the highest remaining seed always plays the lowest remaining seed. So you want to be that number 1 seed. It actually matters. Unlike in, you're not in other sports where you're more worried about, home field. The home field doesn't matter now. In the NHL right now, it does matter because you want to keep playing that lowest remaining seed.
That's a great point, Matt, for sure.
Hopefully they can turn it around.
Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you guys, you think we're going to be seeing a championship in Boston this year?
I'm gonna go with no.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not feeling it. I'm gonna go.
What do you
with
think,
no
Matt?
as well.
Don't sleep on the Red Sox. No.
I mean,
there's no championship this year. Look,
I think the Celtics are our best shot.
I agree.
The
The
Bruins.
Bruins look bad. I didn't watch a game. So let me put that out there. I had friends who watched a game. They said it was bad. It was ugly.
Yeah, I mean, my take on the Bruins is I think they're the best team in hockey, but Tuukka Rask is not a good playoff goal. He's unclutch and he's not a good playoff goalie. And to win in the playoffs, we saw it in 2011 with Tim Thomas.
Yeah.
You need a guy who can go out there and steal games, who can go out there and stand on his head. I think, you look at the Blues last year with Binnington, I think is the perfect example of a goalie who went out there and stole games for them that they had no business winning, including Game 7. No business winning that game. And he went out there, stood on his head, and he was just like, nothing's getting by me. I've never seen Tuukka Rask play like that. He's a great regular season goalie. Unclutch in the playoffs, I've said I'm going to stick with my guns. I've been saying for years that they'll never win a Stanley Cup with Tuukka Rask as your starting goalie. I'm going to stick with that as much as I'd love to see them win. And I think the Celtics are still we're a big man and another year under our belts away from being serious contenders. So I'm going to go with no.
Yeah. Fortunately, I think we're all on the same page there. So you guys have anything else you want to get off your chest and anything else in the sports world?
Ooh. First golf major this weekend.
There you
PGA
go.
Championship. It's out in California. It's exciting, the PGA Tour. They've done a great job with Corona. So I don't know. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm pumped
I
up.
got something. We're recording today on Monday, and just want to say happy birthday, Tom Brady.
Good one.
Yeah.
Tom,
saw
I know
that.
you're watching this right now. Happy birthday.
Exactly.
Oh man. Yeah, I think that's a fitting way to end the show. Happy birthday to the GOAT.
Yeah, happy birthday to the GOAT. Hopefully, you don't beat the Patriots, but if you do, you're Tom Brady, so I wouldn't hate it. But yeah, so wrap up. No, maybe probably not a championship in Boston, but who knows?
It could be.
It could be.
My no was like 40% yes, 60% no, because we do have two legit chances.
Yeah,
Yeah, we do. We do. We have two legit chances. I agree.
but I think we can all agree, no parade.
No,
Yeah.
I'll make my own parade. I'll be in Boston. Okay.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, so don't sleep on the Boston sports teams. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. This is Behind Your Sports. I'm Ben Bellotti here with Matt Marasco and Robbie Cannon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.